Failure sucks. It's not fun. I think that's a pretty obvious thing to say. I think a lot of people, in fact everyone in life, doesn't like failing. I don't think anyone is like, yeah, failing is a shit, man. No, I love doing that more than winning. Actually, I take that back. There are probably some people. But I'll get to that in a moment. For me, what's worse than that, though, on a deeper level, on a on on a moral level, is quitting. And I would like to say to the world that I would have to call myself a quitter. Historically, I've been a quitter. Whenever there'd be too much homework, or whenever, you know, things would be too difficult, I would quit. My fall semester of 2012, I was in college, or well, I guess, yeah, anyway, up in UMass Boston. And there were a lot of things I wanted to accomplish while I was up there. I wanted to get good grades, because I was in engineering, and I knew I could do it, but I wanted to be really good at it. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to see my old friends and keep in contact with them and hang out as much as possible. I wanted to make new friends. I wanted to learn how to live on my own. I wanted to continue to work out. I wanted to see my girlfriend, and that was a bit of a ways away. And it was a sixth goal. And work a close to full-time job, full-time if possible. So clearly that's already that was on my plate. And I failed at, well, yeah. I failed at a lot of that. I messed up pretty bad in Boston. And it has affected me a lot. You know, I had to drop out. So all of those courses, all 5 of those courses were W's on my, are W's on my transcript. And, you know, I had to quit that job. I had to move back into my mom's basement. And, you know, I still see my friends, but, you know, 2 of them are off in the military. One lives up north of Boston still. Yeah. I didn't really make any new friends up there. Yeah, and I quit that whole thing. It's a pretty defeating feeling, having to quit your first foray into adult life. Not even adult life, college. You know, it was like living in an apartment in a college city. Like, there are 50 colleges in Boston. Tons of students. It was like, you know, the whole city was like, you know, very well built for college students. It was a big fuck up. And then, you know, unfortunately, I don't measure my life, you know, by academics. Well, fortunately, actually, I'd have to say, but at the same time, unfortunately, by academic standards or financial achievement. I measure it by the relationships I have with people, which I think is a good thing. But a lot of it has been based around the relationships I've had with girlfriends, and you know, that was the biggest crash and burn for me, the whole Boston scenario. And it was a pretty nasty crash and burn for that relationship. I'd never loved someone like that, and I'd never had a relationship like that. But the worst part is that I had ended up quitting on that. On her, you know, on my schooling, even on working out. I didn't work out for 2 months, and people who know me personally can understand that that's a big thing. That, you know, for me, that, like, working out is what gives me energy to be me. I wouldn't do these videos if I didn't work out. I wouldn't, I'm going to the community college on Cape Cod right now. I wouldn't be going there either. It's what makes me me. And it was just a culmination of a long line of quitting in my life, unfortunately. Ever since about 6th grade, where I would just... It wouldn't be official quitting. I wouldn't be quitting anything like, this is, Adam officially signing off. I'm no longer going here, whatever. Like, I just wouldn't do homework. I would do enough homework to stay afloat, keep my grades at, like, low C level. Like, 70s, low 70s, and some courses, it was a high D. I mean, there were obviously some courses that just had a really good teacher. My friends were in there, and for some reason, it just worked out perfectly. And I got, like, a couple A's on my high school transcript, like, on the whole thing. And that sucks to think about. It's really made me depressed in many different ways, in different periods throughout my life. And, sometimes I think it has made me live with a tendency towards depression, and it's just awful sometimes. But I recently went on a run, a running workout. I included some sprints, so I call it a workout, where my whole playlist was, and I think some of you will call me immature or silly, but I mean, I'm still 18, like, come on. It was Goofy Goober Rock, Sweet Victory, and I'll Make a Man Out of You, that song in Mulan, that Disney movie. And that was a great run. I went a good distance, a good pace. But I think the best part of it was the fact that while I was listening to the lyrics, it really, like, I thought about it. I was like, why don't I live like that? Why don't I do that every time I want to, in a small case scenario, a little microcosm of my life, whenever I wanted to stop running, which I would do a lot. That's how I don't know, I'm just a naturally gifted runner. I got by a lot with that, in cross country. But every time I wanted to stop, I thought, no. Just like slow down for one step and then keep going. Or, I would try and, like, limit that as best I could. And it felt great. Because it wasn't like, okay, I've walked and I'm, like, almost, like, back to normal breathing. My heart rate's almost back to normal. Like, I guess I'll keep running. It was like, no, keep going, 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 go, 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 go! And, I just get amped up right now thinking about that. But, I'm just tired of quitting. That's why I made this YouTube channel. Because I watched Elliot Hulse over, like, I watched, a lot of his videos. I've only been watching since, like, December, but, like, I've watched him go from, like, kind of awkward in his videos all the way up to where he is now. He's an aggressive, intelligent, philosophical badass. That I aspire to develop myself as much as he has developed himself towards being the strongest version of, himself. I want to be the strongest version of me. I want to, be emotionally vibrant all the time. I used to be crazy. Like, and people would be like, whoa, Adam, cool it down. You're kind of nuts. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just get so amped up, it's tough for me to calm down. And, people have criticized me for that. And, I want to help people all the time. I want to work out all the time. I want to be a badass. And I want to be incredibly passionate towards, the woman I love. I mean, But like, shit, you know what? This YouTube channel, sharing my ideas, sharing me, sharing, things that I find interesting and exciting. I think that's a great way to start it. I think that's a great way to go about it. It's just tough. Having been a quitter for, like, I don't know, a long time, at least a decade. My old habits keep coming back up, trying to fucking knock me down. I've promised myself that, whatever else I quit, whether it's, that one course I haven't quit yet at 4Cs, or, my job, doing masonry, or, some of my friendships or whatever, I'm not going to quit this. That this is my ticket out of loserdom. That this is the one-way train to happiness and success. Ugh. God. I have goosebumps right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like, fucking tired of it. I'm tired of, seeing, like a friend of mine had dinner with, this daughter of a president the other day. You're like, that's awesome. Like, fuck. What did I do? Oh, I went and raked leaves for 3.5 hours today because, the guy I work for just didn't, have any business for me today. Didn't have anything to do. Like, he didn't want me to just sit by and do nothing. Or, worse, just stay home and not go to work because there was nothing to do. Like, wow! And I think that's a lesson. I think my story of, like, continually, like, quitting on, like, school and, like, my job in Boston, for example, or I worked 2 weeks, one day each weekend at Pie in the Sky here in Woods Hole. And that was the trial period, and I didn't want to keep working there because I was a quitter. And I still am to a degree, and I'm trying to fix that. But, it was just 2 weekends, not even, and, like, if you didn't come into work one time, and you didn't contact them about it, you had one more time, and if you didn't do that, then, if you didn't contact them that second time when you didn't come into work, you were fired. That happened. I wasn't even employed for a month. It was awful. There was another job nearby in Woods Hole where my dad's masonry company a couple years back before it failed, we were doing a really big chimney, and I was just carrying block in, like, inside, and then up some stairs to the 3rd floor when, we were finished putting them, just stacking them in, 1st and 2nd floors. I did it for 2 days. 3rd day, when they needed me, I was like, I don't want to do it. 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 I quit on my father, like the man I admire more than anything else in the world, and who has had more impact on me than, anything. I quit on him. It wasn't a big deal because I was like 14, whatever, and I couldn't do like half as much as some of his workers, but he was excited by the idea of me being there and, participating and working. I don't want anyone else to be a quitter like I was, and still am sometimes. Because I'm trying to fight that. I don't think anyone else should be a quitter. I think, like, fuck, failure is scary, but, like, historically, the things I've actually failed at and not quit, like, I've seen it through, and I've fucked up, like, I've learned the most. And I just want whoever you all happen to be to watch these videos and to think, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good story. It's a good moral. I mean, like, I don't mean like, oh, that's an entertaining story, Adam, or like, I feel your pain, Adam. I mean, just take my message internally and think about it. Like, it's not that bad. Nothing is ever that bad that you need to quit. I had the backwards view. Nothing's ever that important, so why should I do it? But I think for everyone who watches these videos, I think that you should know that that is my biggest struggle. Trying to figure out and trying to just overcome all of my desires to stop running, and to just walk. And I should be going faster. I should be running and running and running and running. I'm going to be running until my sides feel like they're going to explode from all the cramps, and I'm out of breath, and I'm ragged and just fucking about to drop. That's how far and how fast I should run. I shouldn't do 80%, 90, 95. I should do 100, 110. Because when all those little extra inches add up, all those little extra steps I took, I want that to cross the finish line. When I'm out of time and my life is at its end, I want to look back and be like, I did it. Yeah, finish line's right there. I started way over there, and I did it. Every little step I could take, I did it, and it put me here. I'm not back there. I'm not the guy who's, I don't want to be the guy anymore who, when time's up, is like, okay, I am here, and I started there. Finish line's, I actually can't see the finish line. Don't be that guy. Don't be what I have been for 10 years of my life.